Alright guys, so we are here for another Dokkan battle video. So, Mobile Man has gone ahead and released the next installation of the top 10 hardest hitters of Dokkan battle. Mobile Man has been doing this list for quite a long time. So, moving forward, I'm probably going to cover this list every time he releases it, because I think it will be very important to kind of, let a lot of y'all know like exactly how units stack up against each other. Now, before we jump in, there's a few things I have to get out of the way. First, this is not opinion based. So like, if you guys are gonna say like, in my opinion, Super Saiyan 3 Broly should be on this spot on the list. In my opinion, I think physical Super Saiyan Blue Vegito should be here. In my opinion, I think LR Vegito Blue should be here. Unfortunately, guys, this list is not based around opinion. This is like cold hard numbers right here. So like, the list is what it is based upon Mobile Man's calculations. Like, when anyone will reference the hardest hitting TUR in the game, or this unit can provide this much damage, we're referring to Mobile Man's calculations. So again, guys, this is not opinion based. And I'll say right off the bat, Super Saiyan 4 Goku is not in this list. Accept it. Like, I know people always go crazy and say, my Super Saiyan 4 Goku can hit for 4 million or 5 million or 6 million. Yeah, sure. But Super Saiyan 4 Goku is not on a category team. He's not on a team that has a higher attack buff than 120%. So he just is not on this list. He doesn't output more damage than units that are on, teams with 170% attack boosts and things of that nature. So just remember that, guys. This list is like, again, it is what it is. There's no like change in it or anything like that. These are Mobile Man's calculations. What we're going to be looking at first, I believe, is, here's all of the rules that Mobile Man has. Took him a while to calculate Super Saiyan Blue Vegito's attack, based on average, how many attacks he'll get, how often his super attacks hit, things of that nature. All right, so let's move down. I believe it starts out, with top 10 hardest hitting Transcendent Ultra Rares and free-to-play LRs. So I presume he did this, for something like LR Vegito Blue, because LR Vegito Blue is a very hard-hitting unit in this game, especially for a free-to-play unit. So, to kind of make way for him, it's top 10 hardest-hitting TURs and free-to-play LRs. So the first unit is Super Saiyan 3 Goku right here. He is calculated to be on Super Saiyan 3 Bardock's leader skill, which is a 170% attack buff. Nothing about this is surprising. After you Extreme Z-Awaken him to level 140, he gets immense damage and his attack buff goes up to 120%. So he hits insanely hard. This guy becomes, where he is right now on Global and where he was on JP before his Extreme Z-Awaken, he's an okay unit. He's a solid unit. Like, he's a 8th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th man on Super AGL, something along those lines. Now on JP, he's one of the best units in the game. So if you get him on Global, don't Baba Shop him. Don't feed in dupes for super attack level. You could put orbs in him. You could feed dupes in him. This guy is really, really good. He does have a few attack links as well. Super Saiyan, Fierce Battle, Limit Breaking Form. And obviously on the Super Saiyan 3 team, he's going to get those like 100% of the time. So moving on next, we have the physical Omega Shenron. If you guys see, like, we have like a whole bunch of stuff where Mobile Man will explain, like, Big Bad Bosses is considered active 64% of the time, because of course, remember that in order for that to activate, you do have to be below 80% health. Now, Extreme Physical is incredibly tanky, so most of the time you're not going to be that low. Omega Shenron, of course, is calculated on his own leader skill, which is a 150% attack buff. And obviously, linking him up with Sin Shenron, you're going to be able to activate like all of these attack links. 15% from Fierce Battle, 15% from Shadow Dragons, 10% from... Wait, does he have Brutal Beatdown? I believe he has Brutal... Let me just double check that Sin has Brutal Beatdown. Yes, he does. So he'll also be able to activate that attack link. So we're talking 10%, 25%, 40%, and then when Big Bad Boss is active, that's 65% additional attack a partnership with Shenron will add, turning physical Omega Shenron into an absolute powerhouse. Like, that's why you see one Omega will be linked with Sin, and the other will be a floater with varying links, because, of course, you're going to have Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta plus Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta as a rotation. So there's not really that much to talk about with Omega. Obviously, he does get his additionals and stuff. Very powerful unit. So the next unit on the list is Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Now, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, he doesn't have a ton of attack links. He has a lot of key links. He has Shocking Speed, Over in a Flash, GT, Fuse Fighter, all key links. And his attack links, Fierce Battle, Kamehameha, and Super Saiyan. At the very least, those are pretty easy to activate attack links. Like, you're going to get Super Saiyan like almost 100% of the time. Now, I believe this is calculated on the Fusion team, is the team where Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta will be one of the hardest hitting units in the game. So the thing about Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, right? He has that 120% attack boost, which is good. That's kind of like the new baseline of incredibly powerful units. STR Rose Goku Black has a 120% attack buff. LR Trunks has a 120% attack buff. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta has a 120% attack buff. So that's kind of like standard issue now. But the special thing about Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is his counter. He will counter super attacks. It says high chance, but it's actually a 70% chance of activating. That's why Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is so high on the hardest hitters in the game list, is because he is considered to be able to counter 70% of the time, which is a gigantic number. And his counters, he easily will crit for over 1 million damage on a super counter. Gogeta hits incredibly hard. He is a very good unit, very valuable unit. Alright, so moving on to the next unit on the list. We have Super Saiyan 3 Bardock here. He is factored to be on his own leader skill, which is the Super Saiyan 3 category, which is attack 170%. Now, I know this might confuse people a little bit because, he only gets that attack 100% buff, but it's when performing a super attack. Whoops, I'm spoiling the list. Excuse me. So, basically, the way it works is that buffs that occur at super attack factor into doing more damage than just buffs at the start of turn, because it'll factor in links and support type passives into that 100% attack buff, whereas at the start of turn buffs, like, Super Saiyan 4 Goku gets 150, that comes in before links take place. So, units like Bardock, LR Trunks and Goten, LR Majin Vegeta, any units that get the buff when performing a super attack, they start to hit harder. So, other thing about Bardock is he does have a few attack links: Super Saiyan, Experienced Fighters, and Limit Breaking Form and Fierce Battle. Those 4 attack links are very easy to activate in the Super Saiyan 3 team, because Experienced Fighters, it went from being kind of a deadish link to a unit that some really good units have. Super Saiyan 3 LR Goku has Experienced Fighters. Super Saiyan 3 Bardock, Int Gogeta all have Experienced Fighters. Also, Super Saiyan 3 Gohan, who I know, some people on Global might say, but we're not going to get it. I mean, again, we don't know that 100% for sure. Let's kind of just be patient and see what happens. But a lot of those links are very easy for Bardock to activate. And then he also does have this part of his passive, where if your health is 70% or below, super type allies attack 40%. Now let me see how often. 62% of the time Mobile Man has that to activate. That seems very fair to me. Based upon the amount of times I've used the Super Saiyan 3 team, I would say maybe about that amount of time you will have the buff. Although, with the Super Saiyan 3 team, if you're fighting an event, any old event, you're not going to take damage at all, because you're going to be one-shotting everything. Like, the Super Saiyan 3 team is, I believe, it's the hardest hitting team in the game, and it's the fastest team in the game. You blitz through everything, because the power of all these Super Saiyan 3s is nuts. They're all incredibly good units. Now, he does also have the First Awaken, but I believe the First Awaken is not a link he's going to activate very often. Here's the units that have First Awaken. Now, obviously, in the future, Ultra Instinct Goku and this SCR Godku do also have it. That could be pretty good. But as of right now, it's a link that Bardock's not going to get to activate very often. Alright, so The next unit on the list is Super Gogeta. This, of course, is Gogeta factored in on the Fusion team, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta's Fusion team, with the attack 150% boost that Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta will give. Now, in Gogeta, there's not a lot to say about him. He gets attack 120%, and then he's effective against all types, which is a fantastic ability. Again, if you have dupes for in Gogeta, you want to go additionals, because that will output more damage than you'll get output, based upon crits, because Super Gogeta is already effective against all types. Crits do ignore defense, but defense on opponents is not as big of a deal as people make it out to be. Now, unfortunately, he does also have experienced fighters, but on the Fusion team, that's never going to be active. So you're only going to be looking at like Super Saiyan, Fierce Battle, and then Golden Warrior will lower enemy defense, but again, that's not really much there. So there's not a whole lot to talk about with Gogeta. At this point, we all know how strong Gogeta is. So the next unit to move on to is Super Saiyan 3 Broly. Now, number one, Super Saiyan 3 Broly is coming to Global. I will hear nothing opposing to that. Don't worry. This guy is coming to Global. Global got Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta was in Dragon Ball Raging Blast, just like Super Saiyan 3 Broly is. I don't know why they are delaying him as much as they are, but he is coming out to Global. Do not be concerned about that. So, the thing about Super Saiyan 3 Broly, right? I doubt he'll be changed for Global, but he could be. But he is factored to be on Super Saiyan 3 Bardock's leader skill, so he's going to be getting a 170% attack buff. Now, Super Saiyan 3 Broly is, I don't want to call him a bad unit, but he's a unit that you have to really be careful with, because every key orb he gets lowers his defense by 10%. So if you put him in harm's way, he will take a metric fuck ton of damage. So you got to be very careful with how you maneuver him. But at the same time, if you give him a ton of orbs, this guy's going to hit like a fucking monster truck, because he starts out the turn 100% attack buff, which is pretty big. And then every orb gives him an additional 12%, so he really can do a tremendous amount of damage. Now, his links obviously are mostly bad, but he is still going to get that Super Saiyan, Fierce Battle, and Limit Breaking Form on the Super Saiyan 3 team, like all these other units are. See, that's one of the big things about the Super Saiyan 3 team, is every fucking unit on it has Super Saiyan, Fierce Battle, and Limit Breaking Form. So they're just going to hit harder and harder and harder and harder. I'm not the biggest fan of Super Saiyan 3 Broly, but it is an undeniable fact that he hits very, very hard. So let's go ahead and move on to the next unit, which of course is the global exclusive as of right now, Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta and Bulma. Now, some people might be confused about this. I've had a lot of people tweet me. I've seen a lot of people tweet like D-Free. A lot of people make posts on the Dokkan subreddit. Why is this Vegeta one of the hardest hitting units in the game? He only does Supreme. Well, he also fucking counters, which counters is like maybe the most broken mechanic in the game. Counters are insane, unreal, absolutely stunning. So I believe this Vegeta, yeah, he's only factored under Super Saiyan 4 Goku's leader skill too. So he's at a 120% attack buff, and he's this high on the list. Goes to show you how powerful of a unit he really is. Again, it's his counters. He can attack anywhere from, once to like 8 or 9 times in any given turn, and he will be hitting ridiculously hard, because he does have that attack 100% buff, and he does greatly raise his attack for 1 turn when he supers. Overall, a tremendous unit. Very surprised how busted they made this guy, because, look how fucking high on this list he is. So, only problem is that the only links really considered active for him are Super Saiyan, because he does have pretty bad links. That's basically what they do to kind of balance some of these units now. The unit in the 3rd spot is actually the physical Super Vegito. Now, the reason he's only in the 3rd spot, of course, is that he gets only an attack 130% buff, because again, I tell you guys a lot, but Akatsuki, they realize how broken the counter mechanic is, and they're scared to let these units now really, dominate the game the way AGL Super Vegito did back in the day. So they either balance it with low leader skills, like Physical Vegito and the Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta and Bulma have, and also links that don't work that great on the given teams that they're on, which both Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta and this Vegito have, because, you look at his links, right? Super Saiyan, prepare for battle. Fuse Fighter, Power Bestowed by God, In Fighter, Golden Warrior, and Fierce Battle. Like, you know, In Fighter, Golden Warrior, even like Power Bestowed by God, like these are links like you're not going to get active very often. Fuse Fighter, Super Saiyan are good. Prepare for Battle is good in the right situation, but more and more units, it's like Over in a Flash is the dominant link. Shocking Speed is a dominant link. You know, Prepare for Battle has fallen off recently in, like, you know, the best, hardest hitting units in the game. As you guys have seen, a majority of the units so far have been Over in a Flash units. In Gogeta, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Super Saiyan 3 AGL Goku, all Over in a Flash units. Super Saiyan 3 Bardock, although Super Saiyan 3 Bardock does also have Prepared for Battle. But again, the other reason this Vegito is so high on the list, counters. Counters. Now, I know Mobile Man had a lot of trouble, like, kind of, you know, building up this guy's, like, attack calculation because of the fact that every time he's hit, he gets an additional 10% attack, and it goes all the way up to 100%. That's crazy. After this guy gets hit 10 times, he gets the same attack buff that Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta gets at the start of turn. It's wild, bro. But he built up this whole complex attack formula, and Super Vegito factors in at number 3 on this list. So number 2 is Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. This guy just is a fucking beat stick. That's all. He is on Super Saiyan 3 Bardock's team, 170% buff. Now, the thing about being on Super Saiyan 3 Bardock's team is that if you have him at the start of the rotation or in the third spot of the rotation, he will only need 2 ki to get his 11 ki super, which is incredibly easy and very viable to get almost 100% of the time. So it's incredibly easy to get that 11 ki super, and he will dish out monstrous, insane, megaton fucking damage because he gets attack 120%. Plus an additional 60%, giving him an attack buff of 180% for the first 7 turns, and then after that, it goes to 120%. In terms of his attack links, you know, you're going to be getting Super Saiyan, you're going to be getting Limit Breaking Form all the time, and Fierce Battle, but even on, like, a Super Saiyan 3 team, like, Budding Warrior, Innocence are not really links you're going to get active that often, but it is nice to have so many attack links the way this guy is. Like, if you could build a team where every link for this guy would be active, it would be nuts. Probably the best place to do that, I would assume, would be the Majin Buu Saga team. You could easily get, like, Innocence and Budding Warrior active with, like, some of these Trunks and Goten, or you know, yeah, basically any Trunks and Goten cards. That's what all of these units are, because obviously Gotenks fusion of Trunks and Goten. That pretty much covers him, you know, obviously how powerful he is. And number 1 should not be a surprise to anyone, but number 1 is the Tech Super Saiyan Blue Vegito. Some people don't want to hear it, but, you know, tough titties. Super Saiyan Blue Tech Vegito is better than LR Vegito Blue. Period, point blank, end of story. That's just how it is. They made the Tech Vegito Blue better than the STR LR Vegito Blue. Honestly, I'd be completely fine with LR Vegito Blue the way he is. He's an incredibly good unit, very viable unit. But unfortunately, they released him right after Tech Super Saiyan Blue Vegito, who's a better unit. So that is a big fuck you by Bandai and Akatsuki, honestly. This guy has another really, you know, difficult, like, kind of thing to factor in. By the way, the team he is considered on is the his own team, the super type team, because, of course, the key 3 HP attack and defense, 120%. Both Patara and Realm of Gods have that 120%, but both of these teams only have 2 ki, whereas Tech Vegito Blue actually has 3 ki. So that's the team that he has factored in. His stuff is really difficult to go over because he raises his attack by 20%. Every time it says raises attack and defense on units, it's different for a lot of units. The Kaioken Gokus, Perfect Form STR Cell, Tech Vegito Blue, they all raise their attack by varying degrees, so it's not universal across all units. And then he has a great chance to launch 2 additional attacks. I believe he has a 100% chance to launch at least 1 additional, because he'll always do at least 1 additional, and each of which has a chance to become a super attack, and then he gets a 15% attack buff with every attack, and then, of course, when he supers, he gets a 20% buff to his attack and defense. So if we head back over here, like, we see this, yeah. So first, a additional is 100% chance, second is a 70% chance, and those additionals have a 30% chance to be a super attack, which is pretty good. So you could, like, with this guy, you really, really could have him super 4 fucking times in a row, which it would just be stunning. Like, ball-busting, crazy damage. So he's number 1. His attack stat is 2.1 million. Where's Gotenks at? 1.9. And then we see 1.9 again for Super Vegito, 1.8 for Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, 1.8 for Broly, 1.8 again for Gogeta, 1.7 for Super Saiyan 3 Bardock, 1.7 for Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, 1.7 for Omega, and 1.6 for Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So there you guys have it. That is the top 10 hardest hitting units in the game that are TUR and free-to-play LR. So you see that even though it considers free-to-play LR units, LR Vegito Blue is not on these top 10 units. That's the way it is. Again, this is not opinion-based. This is this is math. This is like fact of the matter. So, there's also this. The top 5 hardest hitting gacha LRs. Let's compare the difference from the number 1 TUR in the game, Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, is 2.1 million, to LR Trunks and Goten. Now, this will be surprising. They're at 2.2 million. So, Tech Vegito Blue is incredibly close to LR Trunks and Goten. I believe they are factored in at the, yes, SCR Ultimate Gohan. If Tech Vegito Blue was on a 130% attack lead, he probably would be above LR Trunks and Goten. But obviously, LR Trunks and Goten are a tremendous unit, guys. He should be the next LR coming to Global. Obviously, we don't know for sure, but it's very, very likely. So, Trunks and Goten, they get attack 120% when performing as Super. Again, when you have that buff while performing a super attack, it's going to factor into more damage than if it was just at the start of turn. He kind of has there's a lot of shit going on here, but basically, you do his 12-key super, it's a much weaker attack, and he'll debuff himself, either lowering his attack or lowering his defense. You get the 18-key super, and they'll actually do a proper fusion, and they'll do their Mega Colossal damage for both. Really, does he do both Mega Colossal for both? Let me fact check this real fast. I'm actually not. I didn't know that it's Mega Colossal for both. DBZ Space is the easy way to sort of fact check this. So super maximum damage. Is this super maximum damage? Yeah. Okay. So, wow. Okay, no, wait, I just fucked myself up. My bad. But both the Super Saiyan 1 and Super Saiyan 3, those are both 18-key supers. I got mixed up there for a second, but yeah. So that's Mega Colossal damage. Obviously, when they go Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, they'll get a 50% attack buff, which does a crazy amount of damage. Now, in terms of links, their links are all over the place. You know, they have Z Fighters, Innocence, Prodigies, Budding Warrior, and Legendary Power for attack links. On the Hybrid Saiyan team, pretty often you're going to be getting, Legendary Power. Like, usually when I run the team, I'll have LR Trunks plus LR Trunks and Goten as a rotation. So they share Shocking Speed, Shattering Limit, and Legendary Power. Z Fighters, Innocence, Prodigies, and Budding Warrior, they usually don't activate. But if I put them in the middle, they can get Z Fighters with SCR Ultimate Gohan. Usually the way my team build for the Hybrid Saiyans work. This is probably my favorite LR to use right now. The way their passive works, giving them the random amount of key between 3 and 9, makes it ridiculously easy to get their 18-key super at will, and makes them one of the more fun units in the game for me to use. The number 4 LR is Majin Vegeta, who has a 2.2 million attack stat. Same thing. He gets attack 150% buff when performing super attack. That's why he hits so hard. He is shafted compared to the other LRs because his Mega Colossal is his 12-key super. So he's not going to be able to get the full 24-key buff right here. Notice how, like, this is 200% for 12-key and it's only 150% for 24-key. This is the thing, like, Majin Vegeta gets basically shafted by not being able to get the full 24-key maximum damage. Let's just quickly take a peek at the number 3 unit, whose 12-key multiplier is 200%. That's what most LRs have. They have the 24-key multiplier of 200%, which makes them hit ridiculously hard. So there's Majin Vegeta. I believe he is factored in on the Resurrected Revived Warrior team. Yep, Golden Frieza Angel right there. So he does get a 170% attack buff. I might not have said it, but the SCR Ultimate Gohan, of course, is a 130% attack buff. So there's Majin Vegeta. Not a lot to talk about with him. Next unit, of course, is LR Gohan, who has the attack buff of 2.3 million. Starting to get very, very high. He is also factored in on the Ultimate Gohan team. With him, you're going to want to put an orb changer next to him, so either Intelligence, Raid, Trunks, or Weirus, and they'll be able to, get a ton of orbs, and he'll get a massive attack buff. Attack 18% for every key sphere obtained. Of course, he does get an additional key per key sphere, which is so broken busted. And if you get the 18 key super with LR Gohan, he does mega colossal damage, and he'll also greatly raise attack for 1 turn, which is a 50% buff. And all of it wrapped together leads LR Gohan to be one of the most busted units in the game, one of the strongest units in the game, just an absolutely overwhelming unit in this game. Next unit on the list, of course, is LR Broly. The unit that I will never get, I just cannot get no matter what. His attack stat is 2.6 million, so 300,000 higher than LR Gohan. Quite a leap. So LR Broly, because he gets that guaranteed super attack when he performs a super attack, that does allow him to hit insanely hard. Now, eventually, LR Broly will phase out. Like, once LR Gohan or some of these cats get onto a higher leader skill, they're going to skyrocket past LR Broly, because LR Broly only has a base attack buff of 80,000 when performing a super attack, whereas the other LRs have percentages. So, this flat buff in the long run is going to hold LR Broly back, but just the fact that he does 2 guaranteed super attacks and he gets that 80% attack buff on them just makes him hit so insanely hard. In terms of links, his links are fine, Super Saiyan, but like things like Saiyan Warrior Race, Saiyan Lineage, like, Berserker, you're not going to get a lot of those very often, but he does have Fierce Battle, he does have Legendary Power, he does have some common key links. Of course, he is going to be factored in on the Resurrected Warrior team. The other thing, too, is Broly basically doesn't have a really good linking partner in the game outside of, like, the TUR version of LR Broly, the Transcendent Ultra Rare, who is just a Super Saiyan right here. So when he's factored in for, like, attack calculations and stuff, usually he is factored in alongside this guy because they have the same link set. So, like, all of LR Broly's links are being activated except Legendary Power, causing him to hit, like, insanely monster truck hard. What else can we say? LR Broly is really powerful. And the number 1 hardest hitting unit in the game, coming in with an attack stat of 3.1. Nothing is close to him. There's no unit in his realm. LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku, the most powerful unit in Dokkan. As you guys can see, it is a gigantic leap from LR Broly to LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku, because he hits so incredibly hard. Now, the thing about him, if you get his 12 key super, he doesn't hit that hard at all, because he does not have an attack buff at all. But if you get the 18 key super, he gets a 180% buff when performing his ultra super attack, which I've said many times throughout the video is the good buff, the buff you want, the buff to go for when performing super attack, which will allow him to do more damage, because links and support type passives will be factored in, which Super Saiyan 3 Goku will be able to get both on the Super Saiyan 3 category team, which of course is the leader. He's factored on Super Saiyan 3 Bardock and his 170% attack buff. So if you get that 40% buff from Bardock, and of course you're going to have a lot of these links active, Super Saiyan, experienced fighters will be active with Super Saiyan 3 Bardock. If you have him in the middle, he might be able to get Kamehameha with one of the other Super Saiyan 3s, Limit Breaking Form. Legendary Power, he's not going to be able to activate on this team. What other Super Saiyan 3s have the Kamehameha link? So you have the AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku. He is an option. Super Saiyan 3 Adult Gotenks is also an option. The Super Saiyan 3 GT Kid Goku is a pretty good option. Those are units that have Kamehameha on that team. So maybe putting one of them on the team just to get that Kamehameha link would not be the worst idea. So all of this stuff factored in causes this guy to hit basically at a level higher than other units in the game. Now, on the Super Saiyan 3 team, it is actually very easy to get his 18 key super. I know in principle it sounds incredibly hard to get, and it sounds like it won't be consistent, but it actually is quite consistent. Does Mobile Man... Yeah, here we go. Testing shows that he gets the 18 key threshold 85% of the time. There is a link. Mobile Man, again, like, see, this is why I say, like, I'm sorry, guys, but opinions don't really matter when factoring into this link, because this is the result of extensive testing. So this is fact. Look at this. This is a dissertation on why LR Goku gets his 18 key super very, very often. Mobile Man and some of these cats in the Dokkan subreddit, they really do follow up, their statements with hard work. So there it is. Super Saiyan 3 LR Goku is the hardest hitting LR in the game, and Tech Vegito Blue is the hardest hitting TUR in the game. So let's just finish the video out. Let's take a look at the change listing here. So Tech Vegito Blue and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta and Bulma are added to the list. Super Saiyan Broly, that is the TUR version of LR Broly, was removed from the list, as was Super Saiyan 3 Goku Angel. That Super Saiyan Broly, he would have been factored in on the Revived Warrior category, the 170% buff, and Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku, he would have been factored in on the, Actually, he probably would have outputted more damage on the Super Saiyan 3 team than the Revived Warrior team, but he is on both 170% buff teams, but he would be able to hit harder on the on the Super Saiyan 3 team for two reasons. One, because he's going to have some of his links more commonly activated, limit breaking form, Super Saiyan things. Well, he'll get Super Saiyan on the Revived Warriors, but like limit breaking form and fierce battle, he'll get way more often on the Super Saiyan 3 team. And also, Angel, Gold, and Frieza will be a floater on the Revived Warrior team, and every, couple turns he comes in, he will be lowering Super-type allies' attack by, I believe it's 15%. Before I finish out the video, I just want to make sure I've got my info correct. The exact number that Angel, Gold, and Frieza lowers Super-type allies' attack is indeed, 15%. He lowers Super-type allies as well as Super-type enemies' attack, so that will factor into lowering his damage a little bit. Also, LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku was added to the LR list as the hardest hitting LR in the game, and LR Super Saiyan Trunks was removed from the top 5 hardest hitting LRs. He just recently came out on Global. He would have been factored in on the SCR Ultimate Gohan list. So there y'all have it. This is the most recent top 10 hardest hitting units list in the game. So, hopefully, some of these units coming pretty soon to Global, you guys might want to go for. Maybe skip some units, that are not on this list. This is one of the reasons I told y'all to go for Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, is LR Trunks is incredibly good, but, there's other better LRs to go for. So, thank y'all for watching. Please remember that, it's not an opinion that Super Saiyan 4 Goku should be on this list, because I know people are going to be upset that he's not here, but he's not on a category. He's only on a 120% attack buff. It is what it is. Hopefully he'll be on a category soon. Regardless, y'all, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.